Hey everyone, and welcome to this Loop Hero guide on resources and where to find them. First thing you're going to want to do is unlock the Encyclopedia. How do you unlock the Encyclopedia, you ask? Well, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to build towards the Intel Center. The Intel Center, which is about like halfway through the depth chart here, the Intel Center will gain you access to the Encyclopedia, which will allow you to get reference to different enemies in the game, different materials in the game, items and whatnot. It's actually a super useful tool. Okay, so that's the first thing you're going to want to do. But in order to unlock the Intel Center, you're going to have to gather those resources. Let's talk about each one, and to help me, I'm going to go to the Encyclopedia. I should mention as well that if you're looking for any kind of quick notes here, I'm going to put timestamps down below, and in the description I will have a write-out there with each individual resource, the fragments that create that resource, and individual enemies, okay, as a quick kind of list for you to help you get started. But first of all, stable wood, you're going to gain stable wood by basically getting the stable branches. You need 10 stable branches in order to get 10 wood. All items are like that. You need 10 of the fragments to create one of the actual final product. By laying forest and grove cards, you get the wood. You need the treasury card is huge for like multiples of them, like wood and food and preserve rock. Use the treasury. It's a value card. It also drops from some enemies, including chests, mimics, flesh golems, scarecrows, and wooden warriors. Just referencing my notes on the other side there. So that's how you get stable wood. Preserve rock. Okay, when you lay rock and mountain cards, you get pebbles, right? Preserve pebbles, which help you to kind of start building those rocks. And once you get 10, you get the rock. The treasury card also, when you complete the treasury, will give you the preserve rock as well, and it drops from enemies. Actually, it drops from no enemies. Sorry, let me correct myself. There are currently no enemies that drop preserve rock. If this changes, I will reflect it in the notes below, because things are always changing in this game. There's been like 4 patches already. And then you have scrap metal. Scrap metal, all inventory items that you don't use and are sitting in your backpack and kind of get recycled because you add more to your inventory, get turned into scrap metal. The treasury card also gives you scrap metal, and while it also says that it drops from some enemies, currently there's no scrap metal from enemies, okay? So you're not getting any scrap metal from enemies, but once again, that might change. Food supply. Food supply you gain by fighting on the battlefield. So if you have like a battlefield kind of card, which is like, it's a card that goes on the side of the road and influences cards on the road. If you have the battlefield cards, you have a chance of earning food supply as you fight. The treasury card also provides it. And this card, this does drop from multiple enemies. They drop in the form of rations, and rations drop from flesh golems, fields of blades, and scarecrows. And fields of blades are towns with the wheat fields, and you destroy the town and you get the fields of blades, okay? And scarecrows spawn on the wheat fields, okay? Now, let's go to the orbs. The Orb of Expansion. The Orb of Expansion is achieved by, it has a small chance of being given to you when you have 4 enemies or more in a fight. The best way to kind of do this, if you're trying to grind the Orb of Expansion, is to have multiple like sets of spiders and then like a vampire mansion beside them. So you're gonna have like 4 spiders and a vampire, and then you'll kind of run them through, and you're gonna have a high chance of getting the Orb of Expansion, which is great because spiders right now are easily one of the best units in the game because of the amount of card draw they give you. So Orb of Expansion should be relatively straightforward to get. Although it's a small chance, you'll be fighting a lot of enemies, so it works out. The Orb of Immortality is only achieved by beating bosses. So when you beat the Lich and you beat the other bosses, you will get Orbs of Immortality. They can then be used at, like, so let's say you die in a run, you can use Orbs of Immortality to actually save all the materials and items that you would have lost on that run. Like when you die, you only get to keep 30%, right? But if you use an Orb of Immortality, you can actually take all of them, so that's great. That's what you use the Orb of Immortality for, and you get them from bosses, okay? Book of Memories, you get them in a number of ways. The Book of Memories, basically when you travel through crypts, you can get them with an upgrade. You also get them from cards burned in your overflow. So you can only hold 13 cards at any time, and if like you're cycling through cards very fast, if you're going through tons of spiders and stuff like you see me doing my videos, you'll burn through the cards, and they'll give you memory fragments, which when you get 10 will give you the books, okay? They also drop from some enemies. The enemies that drop them are the Watcher and the Tome, okay? The Watcher and the Tome will drop the memory fragments, and then you can use the books to unlock more information in the lore, okay? Like you can literally do this. So I can go to this item here, I can go to the oak bed, and I can go down here where it says articles unlocked, click it, and it gives me some additional lore, okay? So that's what the Book of Memories is primarily for. Metamorphosis. very straightforward. What Metamorphosis does is anytime you transform a tile, you get, what are they called again? Oh yeah, noticeable changes. Sorry, it's always a weird one. I always have to think about that fragment. Noticeable change, they're called. And basically, so when you get 9 rocks and mountains and you kind of put them in a grid, and then you get the mountain peak, that gives you noticeable change. When you drop like a river and then you put an oasis beside it, that's noticeable change. When you basically get forests, and then what you do is you put the storm temple near the forest in the line, and then the forest become burned forest, you get noticeable change. So that's how you generate the metamorphosis. Okay, so that's how you do that. Orb of Afterlife. Basically, you get the Orb of Afterlife by fighting undead and vampire units. You need to get, so they're called Pitiful Remains. That's how you actually get them. And 10 remains create a Orb of Afterlife. The Orb of Afterlife is dropped by skeletons, ghosts, vampires, the swarm of bats that the vampires spawn, and ghouls. So if you're really looking for the Orb of the Afterlife, what you can do, you're probably gonna. This is one of the more common ones, but if you're really looking for them, what you can do is you can drop the village and then put the vampire mansion behind the village, and you'll get like full sets of ghouls, which is pretty straightforward. So you'll be able to farm them there. Astral Orb is one of the hardest in the game to get because the units that you need to farm for them are the rarest in Mage and Cosmic. Okay, those units in particular are the Prime Matter, which is a chance of a chance. So you have to fight ghosts, then you get Ghost of a Ghost, and you can get a Prime Matter. So that's very difficult to achieve. The Vampire Mage, okay, the Watcher, the Tome, and the Dark Slime. And so the Tome you get by basically kind of going through the cycle of the Bookery. The Watcher is with the Temporal Beacons. The Dark Slimes, the way you get Dark Slimes is as soon as day breaks, what you do is, let's say you have like a goblin camp and day breaks, the goblins will immediately come from the camp. As soon as day breaks, you oblivion the camp, and the Dark Slime has a chance to spawn. Okay, it's one of the hardest orbs to achieve currently in the game, but that is how you do it. Mainly the Bookery is probably the best way to farm it, but right now that's a little tricky. But hey, something's got to be hard to farm, right? The Orb of Crafts. Okay, the Orb of Crafts is achieved by crafting craft fragments, and basically the way it works is you have to fight enemies that are artificial or objects. There's actually quite a few. Some of them include slimes, chests, tomes, gargoyles, living armor, which is what the armorsmith does, scarecrows, and wooden warriors. So anything that's kind of like animated to life but not like undead. So anything that's like, you know, like a wooden warrior is literally like a tree that's fighting you almost like a treant, but it kind of looks like the warrior actually. But anyways, actually it's a really cool unit. But those are the units you're looking for there for the Orb of Crafts. Orb of Evolution comes from defeating plant and living creatures. They include rat wolves, spiders, goblins, bandits, harpies, flesh golems, mosquitoes, the fields of blades, okay, scorch worms, and fishmen. And the fishmen are when you kind of bring the river close to the like a path. It'll turn into it'll give a chance to spawn the fishmen every couple days. Okay. Another very straightforward one. If you're trying to get Orb of Evolution, just farm rat wolves. That's probably the easiest for you if you're starting off. Now, with regards to the Orb of Unity, the Orb of Unity is from Liquid and Swarm, so this is a little rarer. It can be a little harder. They do drop from slimes, but like slimes don't tend to drop it that often. They come in shapeless mass shards. So the enemies that you will get them from are slimes, blood clots, ghost of a ghost, and the blood clots are when you overlap battlefields on empty roads. Swarm of bats, which are from the vampires at kind of level 2 and 3. The fields of blades and dark slimes, which once again you have to oblivion something as the day breaks. But anyways, guys, as I said before, all of my notes will be in the description, so you can kind of reference them whenever you want in order to help you find the items you need. I hope this guide helped you. Take a look at my other guides if you're interested in more stuff. And thank you guys so much for watching, and a very special thank you to all of our wonderful subscribers. We will see you in the next video.